What Commissioner Mess is referring to is, once Mr. Banks is recognized, he wants to explain what he wants to do and see how you guys feel about it, I guess.
Go ahead, Mr. Banks.
My name is Ricky Banks. I'm a lifetime resident of Franklin County. Everyone here knows me. Me and my wife have struggled for years wanting to build a home. I own numerous properties in Franklin County. I've actually sold properties to be able to build this home. I purchased property in an R1 zoning. I went to purchase a house or have a house built. A 2,000 square foot house, average everyday house built, is $250,000. I'm 50 years old. I can't get a mortgage for 30 years. I mean, I'm not gonna be Ostrin in 80 years. Hopefully I'm alive. But for the same square footage for this metal home kit, which is a beautiful home, I sent you pictures of inside and outside. The landscaping isn't finished, but I can do it for a third the price of a traditional home. That's turnkey, move in. The same house would cost me $250,000 to build. I can do it for a third. I can build a 1,500 square foot house, would cost $187,000, traditional house. I can build it for 1/3, 1,500 square foot. And it gives someone like me that was raised in Franklin County, living on this water, working every day of my life, it gives me something to hope for. And today, this board's gonna get to make a choice whether the people that live here have a hope. Right now, it's been a dream in my life to build my wife a house. But today, it can be a reality. It don't have to be a dream no longer. Because reality is, I can't build a $250,000 home. But I can build an $80,000 home that looks as nice as any $250,000 home out there. But now, if you want to regulate it, y'all have people that look for. I've turned in permits before. Miss Amy say we've got to go and take it before the board and it has to be approved. Hey, whatever has to be done. Properties that y'all are talking about, I went and looked at them because I've done my investigating. I've done some looking into this, and they're not home kits. They've built just metal barn, just structures that more or less looks like a garage, you know. And I'm not saying he should be able to or she should be able to, but it's a reality that people that live modest lives in Franklin County that work hard can build a nice home for a factor of what it costs to build a typical home, you know. And it's on you guys whether or not it's gonna happen or not. And it would be crazy. It would be a thorn in the side of Franklin County residents to not give them the option to build a beautiful home for a third the price. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Chairman. Ricky, are you already starting to build one?
I've tried to pull permits and I was told to hold off, but I've purchased the property. I've looked into the kits. It's waiting on me to call and say, send it.
Yeah.
And you're R1? You're an R1?
Yes, sir. I just purchased the property within the last week. Actually, luckily, I come in for permit to check on permits and found out this meeting was going on today.
Let me ask something. If we go through that, you know how we have to have the 140-mile-an-hour wind load and all that, and you have to have, if you have mobile homes, there have to be the zone 3 and the other stuff now for the 1,500 foot within the bay or whatever. How is this gonna take?
Well, they would have to have
it meets
engineering
all-
plans.
It meets all requirements of the 130-mile-an-hour winds.
130 miles an hour?
It meets every requirement by the state.
There's two of them built, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
There's two of them built right up in Bristol, right outside of Sumatra on the line. I was up the other day, looked at them. There's one, just on up north of going into, T-Logis built. They're beautiful. They're pretty homes.
Yeah. I mean, to me, we need to look at this because if it gives you a better affordable way of living, then we need to do this. I mean, we're talking about right now, we don't even have affordable housing for people in this county. That's what one of the things where we were talking about the other day, so.
It is affordable housing. It's
Yeah.
exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
Well, don't tell them meet all the specs, huh? I'm for it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We have to look at
It's actually
Normally,
affordable
if
housing.
somebody brought us a plan that looked like this, you know, and there's other images that you'll probably see in your slides in there at the end. If somebody brought us something like that, that is a residential look. What we have concerns is when somebody brings us, you know, an industrial type metal building, and they just want to put 1,000 square foot in there, and they have an additional 4,000 feet of, you know, storage. Our concern is we don't have anything in place to tell them no. And then, you know, this is something that would, you know, it has a porch, it looks homish. And there's a few other ones. There's a red barn looking one and a green one that really looks residential, and they're metal barn kits. But when you get a shipping container, that doesn't look like a residential structure. When you get a Quonset hut, you know, turned into a house, it really is not a residential look. And it could possibly, you know, devalue people's homes that, but something like this is not something that we would have concerns over as far as permitting. It's just they look like T hangers in a residential area. And this,
That, Commissioner, is what we're having a
Yes.
problem with right there.
I look like a warehouse.
yes.
Well, but how do you distinguish when we don't have any rules to guide us? How do you distinguish all that?
Yes,
I
and
mean, you understand
Oh, I
where we're coming
understand.
from? We have no way of determining which ones look good and which ones don't. I mean, they just bring it in and tell us it's a metal barn kit, and then
That's why the sticker on my car says, "I love my county attorney."
ah,
That's, this is where this is the problem we're having, Commissioners, and that.
But I believe there can be a happy medium. There don't have to be, it's a metal barn and someone comes up with this and you have to say, well, because we let him do it, we gotta let him do it. Somewhere in the middle, there should be a happy medium where you have to bring it in, submit my plans to the board, let them oversee them, and then come back and say, well, if you'll change this and this, we might can do it, but if not, we can't do it. I mean, it shouldn't be either it's a go or it's shut down. And if it is, it needs to be a go, so some people around here can afford the house that they've dreamed about their whole lives.
What you got in is, it's easy to tell the difference. One was a barn and this is a house. You go with the house. That barn is not a house. I mean, if they wanna change it, they making it out of a house, but we put the law in there and said, you can't do it.
all them houses in the bottom.
when Ricky first came into the office, probably a good 3 weeks ago, he showed me on Facebook this image here. And so that's one of the pictures that I used as far as showing you guys about the metal barn homes. That looks like a very nice residential structure. It just has metal siding. And there's another proposed metal barn home kit that would fit residential areas. But this is not what we're really faced with. It's coming quickly about shipping containers. It's the industrial type warehousing homes.
Well, we'll have to set a standard to the lawyer, a rule that it'll have to be a pole barn house, not a shipping container or a metal building.
Mr. Chairman, and that's really what we're talking about now is having, and we've done this a couple of times over the course of the last 15 or 20 years, you have a planning pause so that you, in conjunction with your planning and zoning, will have the chance to develop the regulations which allow what you're telling me are the good positive types of construction, and then you deny the type that are the boxing industrial type. But right now, we just don't have the rules in place to distinguish between the two of them.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying.
I'll make a motion, let's get the rules set up where he can get underway to
Well, what I'm
present his
suggesting,
stuff.
it probably would take, 4 months or so to go through the planning process. I think you would be better served by having in place temporarily a moratorium ordinance. I would also recommend that you have, by motion, a planning in progress pause so that they don't have to receive and process applications. Then during that pause, where you can plan, gather the information, develop the regulations that would then allow them to administratively process applications for metal houses that look like more R1 suitable construction, as opposed to, right now, she has no way of distinguishing between that and then that industrial box that was showed. You said that was what, your example was a 5,000
The
square
one on
foot?
26
Ma'am?
South Bay Shore is 4,680 square feet with 1,000 square feet designated as residential space.
To put that in context, this county courthouse annex that we share with the state attorney and the county judge is 5,000 square feet roughly. So that tells you what people are trying to place in your zoning districts. And right now, there aren't any suitable regulations in place that allow your staff to make those, I guess, administrative decisions to process applications so that you can have a metal house that looks like that.
Yeah.
Well, I
but
make
not
the
be-
motion, you write up your temporary, what we gotta have to give to Amy, what we need to do.
Okay, well, procedurally, what you would need to do is two things. And I'm thinking it would probably take, temporarily, probably 4 months or so to develop the regulations. I don't know, I'm looking back at you, Rick. I mean, is it gonna be fatal to you to wait 3 or 4
Hey,
months?
can I recommend y'all table it until I get my house built? And then we carry on with this after when I get the house built, I'll come in and say, hey, let's bring this back before the board. It's, if it takes 4 months, reality, I'm gonna be working on it way longer than that anyway. But I would love to build this home. I would love to be able to complete a home that I would be proud to live in and anyone would be proud to live beside.
I don't think nobody
Because
here,
I'd be their neighbor.
I don't think none of the board members don't want you to do what you're wanting to do, but we have to protect the county, and we can't just continue to allow people to do what they're doing, as she's described, not what you're wanting to do, Mr. Banks. That has no bearing on what, all we're trying to do is figure out where we gonna go with this as a county.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask Amy a question, please?
Mhm.
And all the other staff that want to chime in. If we do a moratorium, where is this going to put that property that's in question at South Bay Shore? Where does this put?
I think
that
that's more
property?
legal because I don't think that, I don't want to speak legal terms because I'm not a
Well, Mr.
lawyer.
Schuler, I said for him to chime
But I
in.
don't know that we could require them to put,
As a permit issue?
yes, it was issued. But we could probably strongly suggest or recommend making it look more residential, maybe put a
how you're gonna
three-sided
do that.
facade with
See,
a
that's what-
porch.
How did this, well, and I know
Slid
it's
through the
hard.
crack,
Huh?
slid through the crack.
This is what
Yeah.
prompted, that's what prompted the, I mean, we didn't have anything in place until.
Exactly, and if we don't get something in place, we're gonna have more people
Well,
slide
more.
through the cracks, and then you're gonna have more
But-
people down there complaining, that's the whole thing
Because we've got a
we're
metal
talking
building
about.
out there at Lanark in the same way, and the only difference is they do live in that metal building, but they pulled a camper inside that metal building and living inside of it.
And those types of things are going to continue.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nothing to do with
No,
Mr. Banks's
no,
project, that has
no.
nothing to do with what he's
But
proposing
that's what I
to
was
build.
wondering though.
And Commissioners, staff has received requests for those
Yeah.
tropical shipping, that's a company, those shipping containers, like that.
Mm-hmm.
We received
When I-
requests like that, Commissioner.
I told you, I like that one right there with the different colors and stuff. I do.
Psychedelic.
I like it.
That one there?
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
I know them kids like it, but,
So we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner
And a
Massey to
second.
direct the county staff and attorney to come up with the proper wording of what we want to try to accomplish here.
And
Is
you got
that-
a second
is
from
that-
me.
Is that the way you stated your motion?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner?
I need clarification. Does that mean moratorium, or does that mean just no moratorium and come back with some?
If you don't have a moratorium, what is she gonna do when they bring these
That's
permits to
That's
her?
kind of my point.
Right.
I think the recommendation that I would make to the board is have a temporary planning pause. Let's shoot for a 4-month period. That will give me enough time, I hope, to work with P&Z to come up with some recommendations for regulations. If we can do it sooner, we'll do it sooner, bring it through the process for y'all to make a decision. But two things that I would need from you, one would be the motion authorizing me to schedule a public hearing on a moratorium, and then second would be a motion from the board to put in place a zoning in progress so that when the planning and zoning receives applications for development, they would not, or they're submitted, they would be neither received nor processed. They would be held in place until we can get to the public hearing on the moratorium.
I make that motion.
On motion number one,
Do you-
he wants
You
two different
amended-
One
motions.
motion,
You
then
can
And
do
I
it.
amend my
Take that motion.
second to reflect that.
I think they can, I think, combine the two. I'm not aware of any reason they cannot.
Okay, you
The
combine
planning
the
pause
two.
and the moratorium direction.
Pause in the moratorium.
Right.
You amend your motion, she
Amend my
amends her
motion.
second.
Now amend my
We have a
second.
motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I think from talking to a lot of the people on South and North Bay Shore in particular, their biggest concern is replication of what's already taken place. It's not about trying to prevent, from my talking to them, trying to prevent somebody from building a home or somewhere to live, but it's, something that's the size of this. They are more concerned with the replication of those types of structures. So I just want to make sure that was clear and everybody knew about it.
Okay.
I understand that too, Ricky. The city of Carabel went through it. It was a mess till we had it stopped, but there's little metal buildings with campers pulled in them. Yeah, pulled several of them right down Avenue H, little camper, little buildings with.
Thank you very much,
campers pulled in 'em.
Commissioners.
Yes, sir.
If it don't work out, I'm gonna get about 125 hound dogs and put on that property. And then I'm gonna put a tycoon out there until somebody that lives behind me buys the property.
It's gonna work out.
We do have a motion and a second on the floor. You want to come forward, state your name for the record.
My name is Huey Page, and I live right here in his district right there. And the things that he showed me about the house and all, I'd be glad for it to be sitting out there, because someday I might want to build me one of them like that. And I've been out there for 37 years. I was the first one there. And a lot of people with good, nice houses is built around me. Mine's probably the worst one looking out there, but I think mine's a mansion. But I would love to own a house like that right there that he showed me for something that I could afford at my age, you know what I mean? If I had to have another one, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he ain't but about an acre from me, and I think he's doing a magnificent job trying to get him something that they can afford, you know what I mean? And I appreciate this.
Thank you for coming forward. We do have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carried.
Commissioner, I just want to clarify that that motion was a moratorium on all zoning districts, not just R1. There was some discussion between the. board.
Everything.
All
Also, yeah.
residential.
Right, that's my
All the
understanding, all
residential,
residential. All right,
Water.
thank you, Commissioners.
Commissioners, just a point of clarification on the vote on my RV park. I know Commissioner Jones was not in favor of it, and Commissioner Lockley was, and there was not a official vote, just nobody seconded anything. So I'd like to have a vote one way or other, vote it up, vote it down.
Okay, I'll make a motion to deny.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders going back to Mr. Walter Armstead.
And that's on my
Proposal.
RV, the
It's
site
RV
plan,
park.
site
We have a
plan.
motion to deny. Do we have a second? Hang on, folks. We had one motion to approve earlier and we had no second. Now we have a motion to deny and we still don't have a second. I mean, you gotta vote yes or you gotta vote no. So somebody needs to make a motion.
Well, let me say the reason why I made a motion to deny. I'm the one that denied, voted no on it when it first came up last year. So.
Yes, ma'am, in all fairness, Ms. Cheryl was a lone dissenter
I'm-
on the rezoning that, so I don't have any problem with
Me and you
that.
done talked about that.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
And you know where I'm
But
coming from.
four of them voted for it. So I just need to know.
But you
what-
want it up or down, so I'm giving
I
you a
want,
motion to deny.
yes, ma'am, that's what I'm asking, because I need to know what direction I need to go. I can't sit here in limbo.
Well, I'll give you a second. I'll give her the second. That's not my district, but I'll go with second.
Don't matter.
Yeah, that's what
Franklin
I'm saying,
County.
Franklin County, I'll go second it. I second you.
We have a motion to deny by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Massey.
Discuss.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, look, people got property rights. And in my opinion, you're denying the man all his property rights. I'm not taking sides of who want this, who don't want it. But people got property right to build what they want on their land.
Well, I asked
All
him,
these people saying they don't want it. That man paying taxes every year. They ain't gonna buy it from him, pay the tax.
Well, I would have never proposed it if y'all hadn't agreed to rezone it. I mean, it's like I was being led down the primrose path by the county.
Chairman? But I asked you, were you gonna put a septic tank on there, go back 2 minutes, and you said, no, I'm gonna put a tank and pump it and haul it off like they do at the state park.
No,
Remember,
sir, I said I was gonna have on-site sewer to each lot, and everything on the island has an aerobic system, and it's been approved.
Yeah, but I said right there on top of that oyster bar, right there at East Hole, in that area right there, I asked you, you said I was gonna do like the state park, have it hauled and pulled, and took off.
I don't believe I said that.
Well, look, we got the minutes on the meeting back there, because I was concerned about the septic tank being
Right.
put, the 10 septic tanks being put in that area. If you'll go back to it, it's on there.
I don't remember that. I mean, does anybody have the minutes here so we can confirm that? I mean, is that, would you change your mind if I pump it out?
I don't want it, the septic tanks being right on top of that oyster bar right there.
It's not on top of the oyster bar.
It's right there, it's right there at it.
Well, my next door neighbor was, there was a bar and grill there, and his tank is out in front of mine. It's already there. And then you got Patty's Raw Bar sitting right down the road down there, and Jeannie's Journeys and all the rest of them that all have aerobic tanks that are closer to East Hole Bar. I'm the furthest away from East Hole Bar. So I don't understand the
The bar,
logic.
oyster bar's right there, the 10 septic tanks I asked you back when it was going on.
Anyway, we do have a motion on the floor to deny, second by Commissioner Massey. Motion was made by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor of denying? All opposed?
I approve.
I oppose. So you have a 3-2 vote.
So Mr. Jones voted against it too?
Yes,
Silence is a yes vote, yes, sir.
Okay, so 3-2 against it.
yes.
Okay, at least I got some direction. Thank you.
Anything else from you, Ms. Amy?
And let me just say something, Walter. My direction's been the same way the whole time,
I understand.
and I understand it.
But you know where I'm coming from too.
Yeah.
The county agreed to rezone it. I went by the rules and regulations, and now they're denying me. That's not gonna work.
What you got, Mr. Schuler?
Commissioner, we had an 11 o'clock public hearing scheduled. Before we take a break, would the board be willing to entertain that public hearing? Should not take long.
Proceed. Proceed.
Commissioner, this is the second and final public hearing on an ordinance regulating adult entertainment in Franklin County. This, as I said, is our second public hearing. Are there any questions from the board for me on this proposed ordinance? Or is there any public comment on this proposed ordinance? Commissioners, there being no commissioner requests or comments from the public, I would recommend that the board adopt this ordinance as it has been submitted to you at this second public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Massey. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
The board recess 5 minutes. It's gonna take a little longer.
This makes it tough for you to
Party's over?
Calm before the storm, son. Calm
Think so?
before the storm.
Oh, we already got the storm.
You still out?
He's in the restroom. We'll give him just a minute, he'll be here. See where we're moving to. Michael, I guess you will be next, finishing up your,
Well, Alan's before me.
Alan's gonna speak for you.
Conflict.
Oh, Alan's before you, okay. Let Mr. Lockley come up.
Close reasonable.
Yeah, so I already had that built into my narrative.
Board of County Commissioners now back in session. Next would be Ms. Marsha Johnson, Clerk of Courts report. She has no report submitted. Next would be Mr. Alan Pierce, Restore Coordinator.
Yes, I have a report in front of you all. There's a couple items on there. First is the board update on the state expenditure plan. Commissioner Sanders and I have discussed the latest consortium meeting, and I have met several times with consortium consultants and have reported to the board on my discussions. At the April consortium meeting, the consultants went briefly over all the county projects. This is all 23 counties. I have conferred with consultants since the consortium meeting, and I want to reiterate to the board that the projects the consultants are still promoting for Franklin County are a new EOC, dredging the East Point Channel, permitting and dredging the Creekmore Channel, and the Apalachicola Bay Oyster Recovery Project. And I say they keep reminding me that they are our promoters. They are the ones working for us. Now, we'll see how successful they are, but that's what they tell me. Consultants did clarify one point. All counties are getting the same amount of funds, which is $12.7 million over a 15-year period. If a county is submitting a project that needs planning or design funding as a first step, planning and design is an eligible activity, but it will be taken out of the county's $12.7 million allocation. The state is not providing any additional funds for planning. I had previously thought that consortium consultants had access to additional planning funds, but I was wrong on that. In the case of Franklin County, the EOC will need some planning and design funds, and Pam Barnell are looking at some options. One of the problems for the consortium is that the current consultants do not have the authority to assist counties with designing and planning work. Commissioner Sanders may want to comment more because I may say this improperly, but it looks like the consortium is going to advertise for a consultant who will be able to work with the counties on designing and planning work. It looks to me like they're having to do another RFP. Is that what they're doing?
There was some questions from Commissioner Dukes out of Hernando County, and he wanted to take it back to the board. So what they're going to do is they're going to make up an RFQ for qualifications for someone that can come in there and have design, plan work, engineering stuff and all. Because Commissioner Duke was concerned, a couple of the other commissioners were concerned that, you know, how about our money? If we've already spent this money for our project here, and we've done the planning and the design, but yet you got counties in here like us that have not done the planning and the design, they want to make sure that we didn't get no more money, or the counties didn't get no more money than the counties that already had expended that, you know, expenditure. So there's a lot of concerns and questions. They're scared we're gonna get a penny more than they are,
Right.
some of the
That's
counties
what I
are.
thought.
Not Hernando County, I mean, they're not worried about it, but they just didn't want to proceed, and Commissioner Dukes did not want to proceed without his board giving him some authority and giving him some marching orders, in other words. Now, the other thing is, on this, they had a list of all, on the first part of Alan's report, they had a list of all the counties and their projects, and there's some counties that had quite a few more than just 3 or 4. And what has happened is the consortium wants us, the different counties, to approve the project submitted at the county level. And we really have not took a vote, because I know when I looked up here about the projects that we had, they had us at 4, and the one that they used for the new EOC, they used it as Coastal Resiliency Program, which was a EOC.
Right.
So what we need to do is at some point between now and May, we're fixing to have another meeting in May, I think it's around the 15th or something. We need to go ahead and approve these projects so they can say, okay, we've done this. I don't really want to do it today, I'd rather
Okay.
do it the first of
meeting in
May.
May.
That's up to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first meeting in May, and then we can send it and say, okay, Franklin County has approved these projects in an open board meeting, and this is their full project.
Okay. All right.
Let let me ask you one question though, Alan. It says the consortium is going to advertise for a consultant. Does that mean we have to use that consultant?
That's the unknown, see?
I don't see
Yeah, that's what we
why
don't do.
they should advertise for a consultant, and we may have our own consultant, or we may have a different idea of how we want to do
Well-
our design and planning.
See, like using the East Point Channel, we don't need a consultant because it's already been tried to permit. I mean, all we need, but with the EOC, yeah, what if we don't want to use their consultants? I don't know, see, it gets really dicey because I asked that question, I got a vague answer. That if we're using consortium money, we might be forced to use their planning consultants.
I don't see, but,
Because
okay.
remember, the
Well-
money's going to the state. I mean, I don't know.
And let
That's a
me,
question that needs to be asked.
well, let me tell you this, though. I will answer that question for you, Mr. Chairman. When they brought the subject up, this gentleman got up and introduced himself, and he's kind of like dibbled in a little bit, but his expertise is in engineering. So I feel like there hasn't been anything said, but I feel like they're just wanting an extension of their scope of work.